What paper do you think is best for beginners? So this is very kind of just basic question, which I like. Sometimes it does have like a zillion different options, and it's hard for me, being as like detailed as I am sometimes, to take a question like this and really boil it down, but I'm gonna do my best. So there's a lot to consider with paper, a lot of different factors, and I would say the thing to understand when you're just getting into like fine paper, which is what I would consider fountain pen paper to be, it can be really overwhelming. The paper world can get very confusing very quickly, so you don't want to completely overwhelm yourself. So I'm going to keep it very, very basic here as far as what I recommend. I think that as far as a general brand goes, in terms of consistency, quality, general acceptedness as a wonderful fountain pen friendly paper, I think Rhodia is a really good way to go. It's definitely the first one that I heard about when I didn't know anything about fountain pens. I heard about Rhodia, and for good reason. And literally the paper has not changed in its quality and consistency in the 7 years that I've been using it, and it's been around since the 1930s, and it's really, really consistently made. So I'm a big fan of Rhodia. This is the Rhodia, this is actually the premium, their off-white one, which is a little bit thicker, a little bit higher quality, but their white Rhodia paper, which is right here, is really kind of the standard. So this is a Rhodia dot pad. This is actually what I used to do on my Nibnook testing, but it's white paper, 80 gram. It is very smooth, especially by kind of the normal, inkjet paper that we're all used to. Very smooth. You can get smoother, but this is really kind of a great all-around accepted fountain pen paper. As far as which one I'd recommend, this is the larger size. Not necessarily, this is more like a legal pad type size. There's a smaller one that's kind of the A5 size, which is half this size. This size. I would recommend getting the white, probably lined, if you just get one paper. The dot one is cool, but it's a 5mm ruling on the dot. That can take some getting used to. I mean, everybody really starts to love it once they get used to it, but coming like completely new to paper, I would say get lined. It's going to be a 7mm ruling, which is like a traditional American college ruled. So that's not going to be a big transition for you to come over. Get the A5 size because it's a nice all-around pad. It's going to run you about $5 or somewhere thereabouts. It's not a huge investment, but it's going to be a great introduction to fine paper. I think that's a great introduction. If you're coming over more from like the journaling world, like Moleskines and Piccadilly and that kind of stuff, I would say Leuchtturm is a great notebook for you to consider. Not only because it's great quality, but because the format of it is going to be really consistent in kind of what you're used to. This one in particular is, like an army green color. This one actually, this is my personal one, so it has a pen loop on here with a little Lamy 2000 in there because I like it. And it's got some cool features on it. It's got a table of contents. It's got a date at the top. It's got numbers. You can get it lined, you can get it dot, you can get it blank, you can get it lots of different ways. There's all kinds of different colors to choose from. But the A5, which is this size format, very, very similar to Moleskine, which a lot of people who are coming into the fountain pen world are already familiar with that brand, but Moleskine is not great paper for fountain pens. Generally speaking, this is a really great way to go. And then lastly, I kind of broke out another one as far as stationery. So if you want to get into like pen paling and all this kind of stuff, so you have like your kind of all-around paper, which is the Rhodia. You have your journaling, which is Leuchtturm. I think for stationery, there's a lot of different ways you can go with stationery, get into some crazy stuff. But the one that I loved the most that was a great introduction for me was Clairefontaine Triomphe. It's super smooth. It's just white paper. You can get it plain or lined. This one is lined. Line ruling is 8mm, so it's a little bit larger. It's more like a standard ruling instead of a college ruling. And then you can get blank too. What's really cool about the blank is that it actually comes with one lined sheet. You can put the lined sheet behind the blank one, and then you can still see it through there, so you can write a letter. And you can kind of fake out the person you're sending the letter to, because they're going to think you write amazingly straight across the page, but they don't know that you actually have a guide to help you out. But the final product is this blank paper, so it looks really cool. So really smooth, nice paper, feels really great. It's a great writing experience, so I would urge you to try out the Clairefontaine Triomphe. So those would be my top 3 as far as great introductions for beginners for paper.